maybe. Okay. Oh,
Boom out on.
All right. Welcome, Claire. Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. How is everyone doing? Let's see. Okay. Gareth, welcome. Says we have 5 waiting, so we have lurkers, but that's okay. You can lurk. I don't mind. So, how are you, Claire?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. I have got this playing. Can you hear it in the background?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Hold on a sec.
Okay. Yeah, so tonight we're going to be talking about a a case that was in the late 80s and 90s in Australia. So, yeah, there's an echo because
Yep,
Boomer.
I sorted it out. Yeah,
Hey,
I'm the
John.
boomer. I knew it. I knew I'd do it. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better. I don't hear nothing.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I knew it was going to happen. I apologized in advance to Chrissy, but I've got it sorted. So now,
Okay,
yes.
it's fine.
Hey, John.
Good,
Yeah.
good, good. Um, where do we start? I mean, his name was Mr.
Wow.
Cruel. That's
Yeah.
what they called him, was Mr. Cruel. Welcome, John. Um,
He was, I remember this from my early teens. Like, it was pretty crazy.
yeah. Well, let's start with a little bit of background. Why don't you tell everybody, just a little bit
Um,
about him and
okay, well, the biggest case, I mean, he was a serial child abductor, and it was in the late 80s, early 90s in Melbourne, in Victoria. And it scared the people so much that they locked their houses at night when things are pretty chill in Australia. Like you might lock your back door, but then people had 2 meter high fences and stuff like that. So yeah, it really shook the metropolitan area of Melbourne, and then they started noticing similarities, and actually they thought he was actually responsible for at least 9 abductions over
wow,
the years, but there's 4 that they can definitely attribute to him based on his MO. So it's pretty scary, and
wow.
it was an escalation as well. So
Yeah, see,
yeah,
I
it's
didn't
pretty
know that
scary.
they were thinking he was involved in others. I just knew about the 4 that we're going to talk about this evening. So,
Mm.
wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, but yeah, when I was doing some research, because I take true crime pretty seriously. Yeah, I had noticed that they actually think he's involved in 9, but these are the 4 that we'll talk about that they definitely attribute to him.
wild.
Yeah.
Cool. So his first, what do you want, victim, I guess you want to say,
Yes. Yes.
was in August of 1987. This one is
Yes.
the only one that he did not take from the house. He actually was in their home. It was like 4 a.m. and he had a knife and a gun, and he tied the hands and feet of the parents and locked them in a wardrobe, which to us Americans are a closet. He locked him in the
Yeah.
closet. And then he
With
tied
the brother too.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
he tied the son to a bed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he raped their 11-year-old daughter and cut the phone lines. Now, I remember
Mm-hmm.
reading on this one that he actually took breaks and went down to the kitchen and helped himself to food and stuff like that.
Yep.
And he pretended that he
He
was on the
did.
phone because she overheard a conversation, but they checked the phone records and he actually was not on the phone. He just done that to throw her off, I guess. But yeah, that was the first one, and that was in August of 1987. And
This
they
is
didn't.
this is the one. Sorry.
No, I was going to say she was 11 years old and they didn't give her name or anything like that about her. So
You're right. They never revealed her identity.
no.
But this in this one as well, particular, which goes on to the other ones, is that he actually bathed her, so he didn't leave
Oh yeah, yeah, I left that out.
any. No, that's okay. That's why I'm here.
See, that's why I have a co-host.
But yeah, and that was interesting. But yeah, he bathed her, so
Yeah,
there was no forensics.
yep, yeah.
Yeah.
Washed her hair, bathed her, made sure that
Mm-hmm.
cleaned her fingernails and things like that. So hey, welcome Penguin and Ing. Yeah, so that was the first one. That's horrible enough. And then he
Mm-hmm.
just went on his merry way and left them. Just didn't think twice about it, I guess. I think that's
No,
all we
and
have
I'm
to
not
do.
going to go I'm not going to
Yeah,
go chronological because we can talk about this at the end. But yeah, he just did that and just
yeah,
nothing
yeah. I don't think
for
we have
almost a
any other
year.
information on that particular little girl. But
No.
so the next one was in December of 1988. So
Mm-hmm.
he went a full year and a half, just about. Well, a year and 4 months.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he broke into the
Yep.
back door of a family home at 5:20 in the morning with his handgun
Yep.
and knife
His knife.
and ski mask is what we call it. Balaclava is what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he bound and
Yep.
gagged the parents, demanded money, and then he grabbed their 10-year-old daughter, put tape over her eyes, a ball gag in her mouth, and abducted her. So this one he actually took from the home.
Took. Yep.
And that
So he's
was,
escalated.
I believe that was Sharon Wills, correct?
Yep. It
Yeah, and
was
that's her.
18 hours.
Yeah, that was her on the screen. So he did the same thing he did with the first one. He raped her for 18 hours, like Claire just said, and then bathed her, cleaned her up really good, and then dumped her after 18 hours for someone to find her. So,
Mm-hmm. And he put her in a garbage bag when he dumped her. Took
mm,
all her clothes. Left her near an electrical substation. Left her in a garbage bag.
yeah.
Dressed in a garbage bag. It's terrible. Poor
Yeah,
kid.
he's a sick, and she was only 10, so I believe she was the youngest of all the victims.
You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was 11, and she was only 10. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then we don't know too much else on that one. I mean, she was returned home, and he was never caught. So, which one
No.
was found by? Was it a fisherman or somebody was? I know. I don't know. I just know that they were found.
Alive or dead?
This one was alive.
Then it's the next one. 18 months later, in 1990.
So let's see.
But this is where again he escalates a little bit more once you talk about what he's done. So go
Yeah,
for
this
it.
one was July of 1990. This
Mm-hmm.
time he went a little earlier into the house. It was 11:30 p.m. He broke in with his
Mm-hmm.
knife and gun, wearing his ski mask. He tied and gagged a 13-year-old. He placed tape over her eyes and disabled the phones and searched for money. He drove her to another house and molested her for 50 hours before releasing her at a power substation. This one was this little girl here, Nicola, correct?
Yes, yeah, and this one, interesting. Her parents were English, and they were getting ready to go back to England, and they went on a farewell night out. So she was at home with her 15-year-old sister. So when he broke in at 11:30, as you say, with his knife and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, he subdued the 15-year-old and then told the 13-year-old to get into her school uniform, which is a private school, a very upmarket private school uniform, and took her for 2 days and 2 nights.
Sad. And she was
Yeah.
also released after 50 hours, but found live.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
Now, this next one is the one that I don't like. This is,
No.
I don't like any of them, but I don't like this one. This was in April of 91. So not even a year.
No, July. Yep. Oh, just short of a year.
Yeah.
Just short of a year.
9 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Same MO, wearing a ski mask. This time it was even earlier at 8:40 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
This was 13-year-old Carmen Chan. She went to the same school as the victim before this, the private school that she was talking about.
Yeah.
And then this one, unfortunately, did not get released. Her decomposed body with 3 gunshot wounds to the head was found a year later.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And in this house, he had to scale 2-meter high walls. To get to
it said that he was stalking them and learning their routines and when they're going to be in the house and when they're not and things like that. But the detectives had doubts whether this crime was by Mr. Cruel. But later it was, Go ahead.
One of the reasons is because, I was just going to say, one of the reasons that they thought it wasn't is because she was shot in the head.
Yeah. But then they said
execution style.
It's possible that she may have got a glimpse of him, saw his face, so that's why he had to kill this one.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, there are
all these rumors. Yep. Sorry, go.
He may have videotaped them and took pictures and things like that. So it's horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible. That anguish for the mum after a year is terrible. And this is the one I really remember, because she was all over the news and her parents were distraught. Her parents were 10 minutes down the road running their Chinese restaurant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They thought it was all safe just to leave the kids at home. Because, like you said, it was quite early in the evening, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
two of the, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the chat. I got to stop looking at the chat. I get sidetracked. 2 of the victims were able to give details of the house where he kept them, like the surroundings, the bedroom, and things like that.
You're right. And they said he was always quite softly spoken. Second and third victim, just got to remember here, remember hearing planes. And they even got down to the point where they could decipher if the planes were landing or taking off, which gave the police, retrospectively, like they didn't know it at the time, but gave them an idea of the houses and where this house was that he took them to. One girl could describe the bathroom because obviously they all got bathed. And that's one of the things he did, which freaked the police out, was there was no forensics. He was very meticulous like that. Very crazy.
Yeah. And I got up on the screen now the picture of the map.
Oh, perfect.
Where the victims were abducted, which is in the red. And then when, where the bottoms, their bodies were found in the green, and it's all near a substation, which is an electrical plant, I guess. So I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but the first victim's at the top. See, it says victim 1, and then down at the bottom was victim 2. And that's also near does that say raised water electrical?
Raised water. Bayswater.
Yeah, Bay or Ray, I don't know. But then the first one was Watsonia Electrical.
Yeah.
And then the Ringwood Electrical and East
Camberwell.
And then the Q Electrical substation at the very end, I believe, is where Carmen's body was found.
Yeah, a year after. And the thing with all of these is they're all within 20 minutes drive of everybody.
Right. Okay. Claire, talk about this. I'm going to mute for 1 second.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's the interesting thing is that when forensics did a deep dive into this, and the screenshots actually from a 60 Minutes video, which I think Chris is going to link in the description. They got an American forensic person, and they all came in and started analyzing the data after the fact, and then they made all these connections. The connection with the airport, which is Tullamarine, which is not very far away. So they did all this in hope that if they released it, and this is where I want to go, Chrissy, eventually, but if it would jog someone's memory or something like that, and in fact it
You're roboting, but
did when they released that.
I don't see any of the comments on StreamYard here. I don't understand why. But I can see them on my other computer. I was reading.
Twiggy's here.
I can't highlight any
Gareth's here.
comments. I can see them on my other
Oh.
screen. I just can't highlight them for some reason. But
Okay.
because I wanted to highlight Penguin, she said the photo shown of Carmen Chan is that of a primary student, about 8 years old. She was 13 and a half when kidnapped. She didn't look anything like the photo shown in this YouTube.
Well, Penguin, I don't know who Penguin is. Have you put the link in the description for that?
I'm going to, yes.
Yeah. That's all right.
The pictures that are on Wikipedia, that are on the World News thing where we got our information. So I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah. You and I have both looked at this.
Yeah, it's on Daily Mall, unsolved things, the one that you linked to me, which I will put in the description. And victim one was attacked in her home near the old. I said that. I said she was in her home.
Yeah.
Okay, it's always going to be one anyway. But,
anyway, there's always going to be one. Yep. Anyway, but actually, can you hear me fine?
Yes.
Because there seems a bit of. Oh, okay. I thought there might have been a bit of static. Part of that 60 Minutes thing, which we'll talk about later, or you'll link later, is that back on the second victim in 1988, the 10-year-old, the youngest victim, right, at 5:30 in the morning. 6 weeks before that, one of the neighbours, her brothers, saw a guy with a video camera filming over the second victim's backyard. And with the substations and the electrical towers and everything here in Australia, like, they're specific areas. Like, you really don't go there unless you know it exists. And so that's where, aside from the ski mask and the knitting stuff, that's where her brother's friend of the second victim, that's where her brothers gave that picture.
Yeah, the neighbors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and the boys saw him there, and now if you think about it, excuse me for 1 second, I'm going to cough.
No coughing allowed.
Sorry, no coughing allowed. If you think about it, like, the boys saw him. This is the second victim, right? He didn't abduct anyone prior to this. He's videotaping over her fence. These boys saw his identity. I need to check back on my details of this because did he have a balaclava on, the ski mask on the first one?
Yes, he had it on all of them.
Did. Yeah. So that's a really interesting picture. And this girl, who was a childhood friend of the second victim, has come forward, and this is the identical picture that the brothers suspected, and said he was like older, a little bit chubby, and was very, very upset that people looked at him and saw what he did.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just realized why I don't have the comments on the StreamYard. It says YouTube doesn't support comments on a private video. This video is not private.
Ew, YouTube, get your shit together.
Right. I don't get it. It's not a private video. Whatever.
So, yeah. So one of the things I was going to say as well was at least we know about 4 that they've attributed specifically to Mr. Cruel. Like I said earlier, 9 are suspects, like 9. And with the first 2 abductions, yes, he's still at large, Betty. He's never been caught. With the first 2 abductions, well, actually the first one wasn't abducted. So the 88 and the 1990 abductions, there was a $200,000 reward offered for information about those 2 abductions, although both of those girls were released.
Mm-hmm.
But 5 years after Carmen Chan was found, well, after her abduction, she was found a year after that, they actually increased the reward on that case from $100,000 to $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So the oh wow, Twigs never heard of Mr. Cruel. She was busy raising plants and family, probably. I know she's busy doing life. But yeah, what was I going to say, Chrissy? So
I don't know what you were going to say.
So I'm just watching Mr. Victoria here, Penguin Victoria. It is a lot of money, Gareth. So one of the things that they've said retrospectively about him, that he was meticulous in his planning. As you said, he does surveillance. He surveyed all his people.
Mm-hmm.
He never left any forensics. He washed his victims. That's why they could describe their bathrooms and everything. Made them brush their teeth. He was never apparently aggressive. He was softly spoken. And the other thing that they say about him is that he could move around in that area. So if you look at all the victims' locations and where the girls that got left were left, he was comfortable moving around there.
Yeah, like he knew it.
And that he knew it, and maybe, you know, the summation or suggestions could be that he might have worked for be a contractor or something for the electricity substations. You know, he might have, because back in the day, back then, I don't know if you have this in the States, but someone's got to go and read your electricity meter. Like it was a physical thing that you did. You know, you actually went to the house and you lifted up the lid and you looked at the kilowatts, and do you know what I mean? Like you looked at the power usage, and that's how you charge power. So it's not necessarily done that way anymore, but that person would know how to get into the property, where to go, who's there, who's not. So that was another possibility that they thought might be why this guy could be connected that way, and knows the, you know, the back areas behind houses and everything.
Yeah.
Yes, Twiggy, all the victims were young girls. The first one was 11, the second one 10, the next one 13. And how old was Carmen? The last one was never found, Twiggy.
Carmen was 13.
Mm.
Yes.
So, and that's another thing that that's Carmen. Poor girl. She's the only one that he killed. But it escalated, and that's another thing. Sorry, tell me to shut up, Chrissy.
No, go for it.
But no, because first he did it in the house and left. Then he abducted the second one for 18 hours. The third one, 50 hours. So the experts that look at it say it was like an escalation, like he needed more to enjoy it, which sounds stupid and disgusting, but, you know, and then there's the whole thing that happened to poor Carmen. So, yeah.
Yeah. Just I put the link for the 60 minutes in the chat. I will put it in the description after we're finished, but it's in the chat if you guys want to go check it out. And I also have on the screen now, this is
Mm-hmm.
the um, poster that was put up everywhere for the last three. And
Yeah.
it is Carmen Chan's picture right there. That's
Yeah.
We didn't make this up, you know. So
No, no. And
this
if
this was the official.
who's this little true crime person, Penguin Vic? If you
Don't
think the
know.
photos are wrong, we're just going from what has been released. So thank you for your input, but we're just going with what's been released.
Yeah, from our research on the case itself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and if I need to, I will also link like the Wikipedia article and the other articles as well. So I'm not, you know, making anything up. This
Yeah,
is
because
right
you've
off
done
the
the
top of
research.
our
We've
heads.
both done
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
this is a case that we came across. Um, I believe you are the one who sent me this. Did you, Claire? Because I don't think I just
I
came.
think I did.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to,
So I
show
don't.
the best of my country.
Yeah, yeah. I don't just go live and say, well, let's just do this and talk about this one, and we'll just fake it as we go. We've done our
No.
research, and every Friday, guys, we're going to be doing one of these. If you have
Mm-hmm.
any suggestions of cases you would like for us to research and talk about, feel free to put them in the comment section, and we'll take note. Um, I think next week. I'm not sure which one we'll do next week. We'll
I
have to
will
talk about it.
have something.
I'm sorry, what?
We'll figure that out. But yeah, it's. I said we'll figure that out what we're going to do next. But just looking here. Um, yeah, I was just looking at my notes about it all, but I think we've covered everything. Just a goddamn
Well,
shame. Now, earlier, did you mute and leave it to me?
I did because Eric was going to bed and I had to tell him goodnight. So
Can I mute for 1 second and I'll leave it to you for 1 second?
sure.
Thank you. It's all
um,
yours, girlfriend. Be right back. Be right back.
thanks. Okay, Penguin. The Under Investigations TV program on Mr. Cruel was on the right track, but made more than a few errors about the electrical details. You sound like you might have some personal information about this case. I mean, I'm just saying. You involved somehow? Are you one of the victims? Are you a detective in Australia? I mean, I'm just asking because that's where people get their information is from the media, unless you're closely involved in the case. But yeah, so, but if anyone has any questions, yeah, Gareth, that's what I thought. But I don't want to cloud this live with panels and things like that. But what I do want to do is an after show.
Oh,
If,
cool. I'm
yeah,
back.
say if you're willing, Claire.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be fun.
I don't know if there's anything that we didn't cover about this one yet. I mean, let me look at. Did we get everything here?
Yeah, I think, like it's a really sad case and it's difficult it's difficult to harp on the specifics of it. The thing that sticks out to me following true crime is that it escalated from the first to the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Carmen died. He's never
Right.
been caught. That kind of like irks me. But I think I was saying to you prior to this, like maybe he died because if he was in his 30s in the 80s, he's not 21 anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So So yeah, I think we've kind of covered it without going into any horrific, gory details. But you know, it's out there and it's unsolved. So you know,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
we can
put
do.
the drawings
Yeah.
of the what they gave the description of the bedrooms and things like that. I just didn't feel that was necessary to put up. You know what I mean?
No, no. But one other thing I wanted to say, like, props to these poor girls, right? 10-year-old, 13-year-old, and an 11-year-old, and they
Mm-hmm.
have the presence of mind while they're being assaulted and kidnapped away, or the second two anyway, from their families. They can differentiate between a plane landing and a plane taking off. Like, and I love planes, you know that. Like, what
Oh
the
yeah,
hell?
definitely.
Like, and they're going through all this mental torture, and they can still, which if anyone watches the 60 Minutes thing, look at Twiggy. Yeah. Oh, it happened in the 80s. I was raising my own babies. It happened in the 80s. But anyway, but I would never want my child or children to go through what these girls went through.
Oh, absolutely not. That's a
And they still had the
lifetime.
presence of mind to be able to have heard. Yeah, exactly. But they still could, like, just kids with different back, I think, maybe, or they knew what was going on. I don't know, but props to those girls. You know, hopefully they've
Yeah,
moved on and lived decent
yeah. You're like breaking up, Claire.
lives.
Roboting.
And
What are you doing, Boomer?
yeah, but I don't think there's anything we've literally missed. Been breaking up a little bit too.
I
Is this
haven't.
better? I'm
Yes,
just
it is.
here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Should I come
Can you
back?
hear me?
Oh, I'm
Uh-oh.
here. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
It must be a huge delay because I'll say that and then
Oh, I'm
you.
breaking up, says Gareth. Do you want me to
No, look.
wait?
We're going to hold on. Hold on. We're gonna end this one and restart another one for the after show, so that way we can get other opinions, maybe have a panel, get people up to talk about things like that. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Stay cool. All right. So everyone, give me 5 minutes and then check the channel. We're going to be live again. Okay. Thank you all for the
Awesome.
ones who did come to this one, and thank you, Claire, for helping me out on this one. And then I will send you the link for the new one. Give me 5 minutes, guys. Okay.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Chrissy.
All right. See you in a bit.
All right. See you shortly.